also an art to ask the right kind of questions. So one of the founders in one of the meetups, Bagasura Bites, introduced me to a book. It was Anmol from Doc Vita. He introduced me to a book called The Mom Test.
Okay.
The Mom Test is all about asking how to ask the right kind of questions.
Yes.
Because that's an art.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll link that also in the resources to
Absolutely
talk about.
A lot of resources coming in this podcast. I'm
Yeah.
loving it. My podcast is just going to another level.
I hope so. I hope this works really well. But yes, I'm absolutely enjoying the conversation as well. So yeah, it's about how do you ask the right kind of questions. So even when you're in an established business where playbooks are formalized, where it's predictable, and there are processes set in place, it's never too late to think about a community. I think in SaaS, Rocket Lane has the pre-flight community, which is a great community. And Sri Krishna has also written about how he built the community. He, in fact, built the community before he built the product, which is a great way to go about things. I think this was one of the conversations we had in our community as well, for the same guy who was asking whether I should outsource or not. So I told him, why don't you build a wait list before you actually go all out and build
because
the product?
Krishna, I think, still also, he's a big believer of talking to the customer.
Yes.
Right? And that's how we've been able to, they've been able to
innovate in the
innovate
product.
in such a nice product, and scaling the product in the very complex US market in a space which is also cluttered.
Exactly.
It's not a new category.
How is it differentiated?
Exactly. Please.
Yeah, so if your business is already established, it's never too late to think about a community. You can always start one.
Yeah.
But need time for it.
Yeah.
And don't be salesy.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be pushing your product all the time. Give.
Yeah.
More than you take, give. At least initially, right? Because what is the value of the community? Recently there was a post by a founder who said, I don't believe in communities.
Okay.
And that's because every Tom, Dick and Harry is building a community. There are so many communities that I'm being part of. And for a founder, it's very, they try to focus, right?
Yep.
So it's easy to cut off for them, because they're like, I want to focus on this only. I'll cut off these distractions.
Yeah.
I will only be working on this, on my product lines.
Yeah.
You're fighting for someone's time, even with the community. First, your product is there, then your community is there. So two things are there. And you're fighting for this person's time. If you're fighting for this person's time, for your community, make it worth it.
Yeah.
Make it worthwhile. Give that person, understand what this person needs and wants and how your product fits in. Then your second part of where your product solves the challenge for them is covered. Yeah. But before that, understand what makes them tick. It's really about the JTBDs of building an ICP, right? It really helps understand the customer, understand how it would change their life, how your product would change their life, and then also retain them in the longer run. Yeah. That is very important.
Yeah.
So if you have it's not like if you know this person, like, okay, it's a seat, or let's say it's a VP engineering who also has a CTO, but then due to some funding crunch or layoffs or whatever, right, they're cutting costs and they're moving to say a certain business. You have a personal connect with them. Yes, you can have a conversation with them and tell them that, hey, why is it that you're turning away from us and just go, why are you cutting it off? You will still find beautiful reasons of joining. And sometimes it's not just your product, sometimes it's other macroeconomic factors. Yeah. But sometimes when it's your product, you also need to know that conversation. You also need to know what they hate about it.
Yeah.
You also need to know what was the value you underdelivered.
Yeah.
Because that is what is going to define whether your product is going to work in the long run. So I think all those stages of your customer journey, acquisition, engagement, retention, all of that, and even support tickets, right? Like if your customer, so we have Fresh Chat on our website, and most of our customers put their queries on the Fresh Chat, and we also have a public tracker where, so we are also trying to build in public. All our bugs are publicly visible. Sabko pata hai what is going, what is broken, which is being prioritized and not being prioritized. So it's also a way for us to talk dog fooding our own product, and we also show it to our in our demos and say that this is how we use the public platform, etc. Different use cases, etc. So in each of these stages of the customer's journey, we are able to build a personal connection. I think that is what differentiates a business at scale, even at scale. I think when you go to a HubSpot or when you go to a Slack, two different business models, right? HubSpot very SLG, Slack very very PLG, right? Just see the difference in the approach of them. Look at how Slack does their product and how they inculcate it into their offline parts. Like recently, they had put in a kiosk on a metro or a subway, and they played the huddle music in the subway, right? And these are memorable experiences that you create as a marketer. Because as a marketer, yes, there is a discipline that you have in your markets, which I think you do really well in the whole RevOps parts, right? There's a discipline. But as a marketer, you also have a creative side. You need to let that show. And when you marry that with the discipline, you are unstoppable, right? Essentially.
Agreed.
So how do you marry the creativity with the discipline? How do you justify that this is going to work? It's only if you know your customers. And every marketer should know their customer inside out, I think.
Absolutely.
And then you will be able to create delightful experiences. And when you create delightful experiences, it helps your support person, it helps your salesperson, it helps your revenue person, it helps your it probably also helps your what else? Your designers, your whoever, everyone who's working on the product. Right? So I think that is how the founder mentality or the entrepreneurial mentality has helped me. In my experience of working with so many people and with different teams, I can work cross-functionally because I don't think of their work as different. It's a company. We are all connected. And I think it worked because I've always worked with our joint places where the teams were smaller. Affinity, very small team. Everyone was like wearing multiple hats. InstaMojo joined when we were 30 people, although pre-PMF, good revenue time. But still, I think the entire content journey, building it out, building the newsletter, building mojoVersity, it was just a blast. At InstaMojo, I was doing new things every year. So 5.5 years, har saal something new emerged. Like 1 year we launched a podcast, 1 year we launched mojoVersity, which is great. mojoVersity was like is still there. They're still running it. It's a e-learning platform for SMEs. So the way that we built it was that we want this to be an education channel. Zerodha's Varsity, right? So that was the inspiration for Zapad at that time. And he was like, let's build mojoVersity where we educate customers on different things, right? On different areas of business. At that time, GST was just launched. So it was a chaos. Like nobody, I don't think even now people understand GST. So, my focus was that we can build world-class courses, but who's going to build them? Right? We are not experts in GST. We are expert in e-commerce payments, yes, but we are not experts in GST. We are not experts in accounting. So who's going to build this? The next answer was that build it with an expert who is an expert in that. So when we launched the GST course, we launched with 3 courses. One was accounting, one was GST, and one was something else I don't quite remember. We launched it with ClearTax. We asked ClearTax to make the entire module, and we built it on Teachable. Very the resources we used. There was like 1 designer, 1 developer, and that's it. Tino milke we built this entire mojoVersity, right? We built it with a ClearTax team, so there was a partnerships angle as well. Every sign up that was coming in over here, we were passing on the leads to ClearTax or whoever the partner was we were building with. People were sharing the certificates that they were getting. People were sharing it on LinkedIn. Today, if you just go and search for mojoVersity on LinkedIn, just look at the number of certifications people have. So there's lead gen happening, branding happening, and partnerships happening.